taking a stand, defending Freedom Convoy.
You are listening to Washington Watch, and I'm your host, Tony Bergen. Starting tomorrow, a convoy of American truckers will make their way across the country toward Washington, D.C. to call upon elected officials to lift all COVID-19 related mandates and to end the state of emergency, which the president extended just last week. Now, this is in solidarity with those truckers that we've seen north of us in Canada. In fact, as we mentioned at the top of the program, last night, the Parliament in Canada extended by 30 days at the request of Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister there, these 30 days extending the state of emergency there. The vote along party lines, 185 to 151. Now, what's interesting is that what's happened in Canada has given rise to efforts here in the United States and elsewhere, not just the United States. It reminds me of one of my favorite figures from history, Samuel Adams. He said, "It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men." And that's what I see these convoys doing. Joining us to start off our Defending Freedom Convoy, which we'll be covering each day, is Mike Landis. He's one of the co-organizers of the People's Convoy, which will be heading out tomorrow from Southern California. He is actually on his way to the starting point right now and has pulled over somewhere in Arizona to talk with us. Mike, welcome to Washington Watch.
Hi, Tony. Thank you for having us on.
All right, talk a little bit about what you plan to do, the journey you're going to be taking over the next few days, and the purpose behind it.
Yeah, so as you said, Canada inspired us. I think everybody's been close to this point, just waiting for that right spark to set it off. And, around the world, we've seen it happen, like you said, UK, Finland, and so on. And many other countries are starting to do the same thing. So, a bunch of us got together here and put this together for the United States. And it's really turned into a pretty cohesive thing here. We have a lot of the doctors that you've seen trying to speak out against this stuff over the last, 2 years that have been blackballed from their industry and silenced on our side here. And really, I think it's kind of awesome because the convoy can give, it's big, it's loud, it's boisterous, it catches attention. And then they can say their piece and explain why we really never needed to be in these states of emergencies and, have people die or, even force these vaccines on people that really didn't want them and hopefully inform them a little better with what they're dealing with.
So do you have any idea how many truckers will be joining you along the way?
I hate that question, but no, I don't. I can say, though, that this is shaping up to be pretty large by the response that we got. In fact, talked to some of our other colleagues over at Adelanto, where everyone's gathering in California, and the place is just packed right now with people bringing in donations and food and just supplies and stuff to take along the way so far. And we've only had access to it for the last maybe 2 hours or so, and they already have piles of stuff in the back of 2 different tractor trailers. So it's I believe, as we come across the country, you're going to see it grow. Even Canada's only started with a couple trucks. I don't know how many trucks we have there right now at this point, but regardless, whatever we start with, we're going to end with a whole lot more. So,
and I want to underscore, Mike, what the People's Convoy has said in their statements. This is a peaceful, unified transcontinental movement, and it's just like it was in Canada, peaceful, just doing with what you have, making a stand for freedom. And I think it has, as you said, it's garnered a lot of interest. Others have come along. I think the support is reflective of that. Can you tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit about some of the stops you'll be making along your way as you head to D.C.?
Yeah. So, the first day we're going to be stopping in Kingman, Arizona. And then the next day in Lupton at the border there in New Mexico and Arizona. And then the next one will be just across the border into Texas. We're only going to move roughly 300-ish miles a day on average, try and stay in daylight and allow enough places for people to gather and come out to see the trucks, the convoy or whatever, move in and move out. And hopefully at a couple of them, we're going to have some of the doctors there to actually speak and try and get that information out about, what the real truth is behind some of this, as to why we really shouldn't have had to deal with some of the stuff we've dealt with the last 2 years here.
Mike, any concern about authorities trying to shut down the convoy along the way?
No, I don't think so. The thing is I realize, the convoy in itself is going to be a bit of a disruption, especially if you have a large number of vehicles with it. And this isn't just for trucks either. Anybody can join in with this with their car, their camper, their motorcycle, whatever. In fact, we encourage everybody that believes in this to join in. I'm sure there's places that aren't going to like it because it's going to be a little bit of an inconvenience as we go through. But at the end of the day, we have our constitutional rights to be able to assemble and protest, and we're not out burning cities and stuff down. So I really don't understand why there would be any, opposition to that, in regards to that there. There's, like you said, it's supposed to be peaceful. We're not looking for trouble. We're not out to hurt people or anything like that. So if anything like that ever arises, it was probably implants from the government trying to make us look like what they want us to.
Well, Mike, I can say this. There are a lot of folks that appreciate the fact that you and others are doing this. And this is not the only convoy. I think there's 2 or 3 other convoys going on here in the United States at the same time. It's spontaneous. It's grassroots. But I'm grateful for the truckers taking the lead in this. I know they're not the only ones. As you said, the doctors and others are going to be joining in this. But you're providing a very visible face for this and a presence. And we're grateful because, defending freedom takes all of us. Wherever we are, we have to use what we have to defend that freedom. And you guys are doing that, and appreciate it. And we're going to be checking in with you along the way, if you don't mind.
No, that would be great. The more coverage we could get, the better. That way, stuff can't be spun to make it look like something it's not. So I'm glad to be a part of this, and I'm glad that the people of this country, not just the truck drivers, but the people of this country are finally standing up against this. I tell my kids all the time, the right thing is not always the most popular or cool thing to do, but if it's right, it's right.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely correct. I'm looking at the map and where you're going to be going. I'm going to see if I can cross paths with you. Maybe we can stop at a truck stop and get a nice dinner.
That works for me.
All right, Mike, be safe. Look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Yep, thank you.